It is a valid point, isn't it?
Chiesa is the one that I do not understand. Right, I really want to know what he does in training. I presume he parks in Slot's parking space, knocks over his breakfast, and then boots the balls over the fence for half an hour, and then goes home. Because every time he's played, barring the Plymouth game, which nobody played well in, but you take that game out, every time he's played, he's been direct. He runs at players, he gets shots off, he scores goals, but he's not given any opportunity. And against PSG, when Cody Gakpo came on, he was patently unfit. He wasn't just half a yard short. He didn't know what he was doing with his feet. He didn't know what he was doing with the ball. And that's an injury he picked up in the derby. Now, you get a cup final 5 days later, and you still go to him first instead of Chiesa. And he came on, and he's been great all season, by the way, Cody Gakpo. I'm not running him down. But he wasn't fit.
It was anyone who didn't really even know anything about football. So me could see that he wasn't fit.
Yeah, and for me as well, it's not about. I think Arne Slot is going to look back at this season, and we're not going to complain. If you'd have offered me anything remotely approaching, if you'd offered me a cup final and top four at the start of the season, I'd have taken your arm off. But cup final and 12 points clear or whatever we are, that's insane. But I'd like to think Slot will look back and say, look, if I could change anything, I'd be changing earlier on in the season. Like Mo Salah was completely anonymous. Now, if he hadn't started against Leicester at home, or he'd come off when we were comfortably ahead against West Ham, or he'd come off when we were comfortably ahead against Leverkusen, would he have had that extra energy in his legs? And I know that he doesn't like to come off, but you're the manager. You've got to go, all right, if I want you firing at the serious end of the season, because we see it with Man City. Man City have done it for years. You see them in September and October and a little bit wobbly, and everyone goes, oh, this could be the year where they fall apart. And then they start to win in November, and they get better, and they get better, and they get better, and they hit April and May, and they are flying. And we've gone the other way about it, which has worked. You can't argue with where we are in the league and where we were in the Champions League. Because PSG, I think, were a very, very, very good side that knocked us out. But Sunday just looked like one game too far, where a lot of players just ran out of gas.
I guess this is all part of Slot's learning curve. We have to remember he's only been here since last summer, don't we? And the Dutch League is a lot different from the Premier League.
It is, and I think, it's said all the time, but in other leagues, when you are playing against the team that's bottom of the league, then fine, you can take your foot off the gas. You can play your first team, but they barely break out of a jog. They go 2-0 up and that's it. But whereas in the Premier League, as we found, Southampton went 1-0 up against us. And there's players in every team, all the way through the 20 teams in the league, who could probably get into our squad at least. So there's always someone who's going to cause you bother. But yeah, I think when you look at the number of games that players have played, there are some that either he doesn't trust or he doesn't fancy, or because at the start of the season, I'd say we comfortably had two players in every position who could start, except the number 6, Gravenberch. Endo was a little bit far off, being a first choice. But everywhere else, you go, oh yeah, Jones can come in for McAllister, Elliott can come in for Szoboszlai. We had 6 forwards for 3 positions, 4 centre halves, 2 left backs, 2 right backs. You're looking, that's a really good squad. But as the season's gone on, you can see he's been reluctant to use them. And I think this summer, obviously there's the contract situation with the 3 of them, but I think this summer there might be a few more where he goes, if we can get a decent price for this lad, he can go. So we'll see how he goes, how he rebuilds.
And just finally for now, this international break, some people will say it's come at a good time for Liverpool with the disappointment, but already Gravenberch is injured.
Didn't know that.
He's basically not going to be playing for the Dutch in the games.
Is he injured or is he injured?
No, he went out there with him, with them, and he's coming back. Okay. So it could be that Liverpool need Endo. It could be for Endo break glass.
I'd trust Endo in the derby. Pop his little gum shield in, start flying about the place.
But he doesn't seem to trust Endo, does he? And a lot of people have been I don't
think though anyone trusted Endo from the minute he walked through the door, and then slowly he wins people over, game by game by game. And you've seen a little bit of that with Slot, because Endo didn't get anywhere near the team in the first half of the season. Then he came on to close a few games out, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, and then suddenly it's half an hour now. So I think, we will be a different team, with Endo playing as their Gravenberch, because they're very different styles.
I'm not saying this definitely going to happen. Gravenberch might make a recovery and be fine, but you get to internationals, don't you? And you immediately say, well, someone's going to get injured.
Well, because we always see it as, oh, great, we get a break from the fixtures, we as the fans. But we don't, because, most of our players are off playing international football. I just hope that they don't have, they take it easy a little bit. And I wouldn't mind, to be honest, seeing a few more little Gravenberch injuries, little calf strain here or a little ankle tweak there that makes them sit out a couple of games and come back fresh.
Steve says Paul Chiesa has shown very little prior to Sunday. Sunday has highlighted our squad is okay in numbers but not quality. Carra spoke well on what we need, i.e. better forwards to compensate when Salah is off form.